Good morning. Welcome to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Melanie from the Painted Bench on Ottawa Street in Hamilton. And again, going into the depths of winter and people are inside, cooped up, like to get onto some projects that they've been sitting around, right? So some people may have an old piece of furniture, maybe an heirloom in their family that they want to hang on to.
But the finish isn't so great.
Oh, yeah. It's been worn and torn and it's seen many lives, right?
That's right.
That's what we want to talk about today. Is that's what you guys do. You help inspire people to recycle, reuse, keep those pieces.
Exactly. We can teach you how to do it, or we can do it for you. Either way.
That's always good too, right? Because some people don't want to adventure into that. Some people don't have time,
don't
or
have
it's not
time.
their thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But for some people, they love it.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
good escape, right? To take that piece and know that they've done it.
Oh, we have people who are painting everything in their house.
I know. I can see it being a little bit of an addiction, right?
Oh,
They
it
just
is.
start painting
It is.
everything. So
Yeah.
let's talk about using chalk paint is kind of the cool thing right now. And let's talk about some of the benefits of chalk paint.
The great thing about chalk paint, it has been around for 25 years. It's
Right.
not new. It's not a
new.
flash in the pan. It's been tested and it works wonderfully. The great thing about it is that there's no prep to speak of. If it's really shiny, you might want to give it a light sanding. Make sure it's really nice and clean, and away you go.
And that's it.
That's it.
So does it matter what you clean the item with?
We just use hot water and dish soap.
Easy, right? So that's the thing. Some people look at a piece. So, we're looking right now at our fine young gentleman here painting this piece. And, like he's just going over top of what originally existed, right?
Yep.
So that's, an easy thing to do. And we can see already just using this very light popular color is going to change the appeal in the house right away.
This is old ochre. It's one of our most popular colors. Any of the whites, the pure white, old ochre, they're very popular.
I can see that. And again, because you're seeing right now, obviously, with the trends, everything's very light and bright, right, in your home.
And people start with these color, with the off-whites, and then they get a little adventurous, and then they start using color.
Right. They'll start maybe getting into blues and all kinds of fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's the great part. So people would look at a piece like this originally and say, oh my goodness, I have to sand that first?
Well, it's really heavy too. It's really clunky and heavy and dark. And you put a light color of paint on there and it just changes the whole feel in the room.
It's amazing. And this is a really cool piece. And that's the thing. There are pieces like this that are around that some people abandon. They don't want this anymore. So you can get some of these pieces for really good prices.
The thrift stores are great places to look for this kind of thing.
Sure. And that's the best part is you can make anything fit into your home and your decor with just a little bit of paint, right?
That's right. And we sell pieces like this too. A lot of the furniture we sell in the store is unfinished. So people are coming in, they're buying a piece of furniture, and they're going home with a can of paint and a piece of furniture.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Right? And you guys can kind of, again, obviously give some guidance on how this is supposed to be done. So he's applying a coat right now. It actually pretty good coverage even in one coat.
Yes.
How many coats do you normally apply?
2.
That's it, right?
There's very few colors that you need a third coat on. Sometimes pure white you do. And some of the colors, you get 1 coat coverage.
Wow. And drying time?
45 minutes.
Holy
You put another
smokes.
coat on, 45 minutes, it's dry, and away you go with your wax.
And that's it. So wax. So what kind of wax are you using?
Wax, it's a soft paste wax.
Okay.
It's a European-made wax, and it blends with the paint, and it's your nice soft finish. So that's your protection from wear and tear.
Okay.
Plus, it has a beautiful finish to it.
Okay. So, and that particular wax will go with any of the colors. It just blends in with what
You can even use it on a finished piece of furniture. You could use it on raw wood to give it some color, or you can also use it on something that's been varnished to give it some protection.
Amazing. Now, can you use chalk paint on floors?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So,
And
any
there's
difference there?
Pardon?
Any difference with the treatment?
No. You finish the floors with lacquer.
Okay.
It's a liquid finish. It dries again. It dries overnight. So if you do your floors, you finish them with the lacquer, get up in the morning, you can walk on them.
Unbelievable. And I think that, again, is such appeal to that, right?
Yeah.
Kitchen cabinets. And
Kitchen
what you can
cabinets,
do.
at least 5 times a week we sell paint to somebody who's finishing their kitchen cabinets because those old tired oak cupboards.
That color oak that we just don't love
Exactly.
right now.
The quality of the cupboards were wonderful 25 years ago. There's nothing wrong with them, but they're tired finish. They're scratched, they're dirty. So again, you give them a really good cleaning and away you go. Paint them up, wax them, you're good to go.
So if you have any real indentations or marks, I guess you could sand those down a little bit to try to smooth them out, or?
A lot of times we use those indentation, those scratches for distressing the paint. So we're removing some of it to make it look a little bit old.
I see.
We use those indentations. We don't sand them out. But if you want something a little bit smoother, then yes, you can sand those. You can fill them out. You could also fill them with a little bit of wood filler.
So you can imagine you have that oak that we're talking about in kitchen cabinets, stripping off, taking off the doorknobs and repainting, and then the cool doorknobs that you can put on.
Yes.
And you have a lot here at the store as well.
Yeah, we do. We have a huge selection of hardware.
And that's the thing, a new kitchen in no time.
Oh, definitely. And it's easy. We don't even take the doors off. We paint the doors right on.
See, and that for somebody at home, which normally would hire somebody to do that, come in and do that for them, they could really take that task on, because when you look at it, it seems so taxing to be able to have to take off every door, and you look at the time period that would take, and it's your kitchen.
And then you have to get the doors back on in the right order.
That's a good point. And people will take them all off and then say, oh no, I should have marked them A, B, C, D, right?
Yes, exactly.
So that's actually a very good point if you're doing that at home. Valid point there, Melanie. So really, it's amazing what you can do with chalk paint. What else? Give some ideas, like for people, some tips.
You can paint just about anything. You can paint outside. You can paint your front door. If you're painting outside, you're not using any wax or varnish. You just let it cure, and away you go. If you can paint your dining room or your outside table and chairs, wrought iron. You can even paint plastic.
See, that amazes me. It amazes me because I really can't imagine it being that durable outside, but it really does.
It is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah. We've actually we're doing a little test on my house. We have a galvanized steel roof on our bay window that's never kept paint on it. So we painted it this summer, early in the summer, to see what would happen, and the paint stayed on. It's the first paint that's ever stayed on.
Oh my goodness.
So we're going to see what happens with it. You can also use it for chalkboards. So
Right.
if you don't finish it, if you don't put any wax or any kind of finish on it, you can use it as chalkboard.
And you're seeing that, right? I had bought some actually from my son's playroom to paint one of the walls off, or people will paint a door, or even inside of one cabinet door to write notes on in their kitchen. Like, that stuff's really fun to do.
Yeah, and you can paint fabric. You can dye fabric with the paint.
Ooh-wee.
So if you mix the paint, 20 parts water to 1 part paint, you can dye fabric. We've dyed scarves, tops. We've got painting tops, and we've got paint on it and dyed it to match the paint that we splashed on it.
That is awesome. So really, people should come into the store, talk to you guys, and you guys will get them tips, like all kinds of ideas. You can basically paint anything.
Yeah, you can.
How fun.
And that's the great part of chalk paint.
Yeah, and you guys will always, of course, give instruction and good advice and keep people painting and paint your whole house.
And we have workshops too.
And the workshops, that's the best part, right? So people can sign on and then go onto your website as well.
Yes.
And take a look and talk to you guys and come in and get some really good lessons.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, look, you're doing a fine job over there already. Keep it up. We'll check in with you again some other time. That's it for now. Thanks so much. We'll have more Terra at home after this. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of Terra. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning. Welcome back to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Tina Destro, and you're an instructor at the Dundas Valley School of Art. I love coming here. It always makes me feel really good. I've always loved art, and it's a great place for people to come of all ages, from the wee ones that we have here to 90, 100 years old. Come on in, because some people, this is the place where people feel good, and it brings it back to, a lot of times, passion for people, right? So, you know, first off, because we have our sweet little girls here this morning, we do want to talk about your March break classes coming. We already have the full session of classes right now ongoing for the new year, but we want to talk about March break because parents do need to be thinking about that,
Yes,
you know.
definitely.
So kids will be out of school for a week or two, and you know, sometimes you want to get them in something, again, that's not necessarily a school environment, but a place where they are going to learn and develop.
Yes, definitely.
So tell me a little bit about some of the classes kids can be exposed to during March break.
Like you said, it's a week. It's a full long week. So we have amazing classes, and we have a lot of different instructors that teach different things. And we have time travelers. We have a kinetic robotic sculpture class working with Lego.
So that's the thing. So this robotic kinetic class, this is new, right? So
Yes,
I think what's cool about this is it's recycled pieces that are kind of brought together, and again, it is still a form of art. So you're showing more, I guess, as you said, moving art, right?
Yep. And you're still using your imagination in creating those pieces. So, like I said, they're working with the Lego. They're still designing.
Yes.
And creating beautiful moving sculptures.
And that's the thing, I think for kids, you know, as they're slowly developing, and we all know they develop at different rates and,
Yes.
and different interests at different times, I think everybody has a little bit of creativity in there somewhere.
We all
Some
do.
are just spilling over with it, and others, we need to draw it out. So
Yes.
why not bring your boys and girls in here and introduce them? And that may be the way to bring them into art.
Yeah, and it's
Right?
a great environment. It's a very organic and exploratory environment too. So the focus is having fun,
Right.
and learning
Exactly.
along the way.
Now we're watching these two little girls painting right now. I think what's neat is that, you know, we have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, and you know, you're talking about Emily Carr.
Yes.
You're introducing artists to them at a
Yes.
very young age, and some adults would say, really? Like, would they even know?
Yeah.
But why not art history? Why not?
Exactly, and be surprised at how much they absorb and how much they do learn. And if you make it fun for them, then you can kind of sneak in the learning aspect,
That's
the
right.
teaching aspect in there.
Well, that's the thing. You would learn, you would know lots about Emily Carr, and you can kind of make it fun. And it's amazing. You're right. Kids hold stats in their brains
Yes.
so much better than we do sometimes, right?
definitely.
And they'll come home and, did you know Emily Carr did this? And she knows this, and it's like such a light approach to it that they
Yes.
really do. And it's amazing when they start studying art history in school that they'll be like, you know what? I know her.
Yeah, and especially a Canadian artist, like an important Canadian artist. So.
Yes. How important that is.
Yes, and it's wonderful when parents come in and they can say, oh, what did you learn today? And they say, oh, Emily Carr. So they're actually learning about a Canadian artist, a very important
Yes.
Canadian artist.
And different styles of art,
Yes.
right? So art just isn't one thing.
No.
Right, and that's what's great. So they're painting here right now,
Yes.
and also using different types of materials.
Yes. So
So-
you're using the oil pastels, the tempera paint, pencils. So they start off with a general idea, general sketch, and we start with a starting point. And then they can add their own sort of ideas to it and inspiration and really explore. So that's what they're doing.
And so when they come, it's a full day, right? So, they have lunch break, they have breaks, and they also get to socialize with kids that they
Yes.
don't necessarily go to school with.
Exactly, and that can be interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when they're coming in, obviously we've talked about the painting aspect, but pottery is a big thing here as well.
Yes, kids love pottery, and again, it's a hands-on activity.
Sure.
They learn to use the wheel, they do free hand building, so it's a wonderful, wonderful class. And again, that's something that they can take, they can start out very young and right up to adulthood take it. So it's a wonderful program.
So I think for people, with the March break courses, because there are so many stuff, there's cartooning, there's all kinds
Yes.
of different aspects,
Yes.
right? Really kind of, get to know, your child and their interests. Maybe also push them outside their boundaries a little bit and say, hey, you know what, this is fun, let's come on in and
Yep.
try something different. And then obviously you have summer courses as well for kids, like summer
Yes.
camps. So
Yep.
just get them interested maybe in the March break, come just 5 days like that,
Yep.
and then they might just want to come back here all summer, which is so cool.
Well, that's what we hope. That's what we hope.
Because you guys have all kinds of neat courses,
We
like
do-
way off the charts you would never imagine.
Yes, we do amazing classes. And again, we have very talented instructors that all have a different strength and do different things. We did a skateboard, longboard class, the animation classes, the pottery classes. We've done boogie boards in the past.
Yeah,
We've
like how
done-
cool is that for kids?
We've done all kinds of fun stuff. So again, it's a great place for kids just to come in, have fun, and learn some important aspects of art while they're here.
And the best part is they have, you know, a brochure you can pick up at the school, but you can go online, look at all the classes, you can register online, you can call in and register. But something you want to get on now if you do want to have your son or daughter in the March break camps. Now, one thing we should touch on as well, of course, adults can come. There are all kinds of amazing classes. You have a great photography studio here as well, so people can learn traditional photography.
Yes, still. In a digital world, they can still learn the basic photography.
Yeah, and you guys have, I mean, it's awesome when you look at what you have, and this whole building is just so cool to be in, right? And
it's a wonderful old building.
It really is. And
it's got a great feel to it.
So again, pottery as well for adults?
Yes, there's pottery, there's still life classes, figurative drawing, on many levels too. There's beginner classes, advanced classes, intermediate classes.
And that's the thing for some adults, you know, you may have loved it in high school or college, you may have done it when you were younger, before you had children, before you got into family life and the crazy world. But again, art is a great place to come because it makes you feel good. It pulls you away from the rest of the crazy world. And even if you come to a class once a week at night, you know, just sneak in here. And
it's very therapeutic.
It really is. Go back to that figurative drawing you used to love to do. And you may be a little rusty, but again, start with the basics, as you say.
And that's the thing, is to not be afraid. A lot of adults tend to worry too much about, they're not free to explore.
Like these guys, right?
Yeah, kids just, they get right in there and there's no boundaries. And I think as adults, we forget that. So I think it's important that, you know, to not be afraid, not to be hesitant, just take a class, sign up, and sort of let yourself go and have fun and create. And that's really the best thing to do. And
don't worry about being judged.
Don't worry about that. No, not at all.
Don't be embarrassed or shy. You can sit in the corner and do your thing.
Exactly. And you have an instructor there to guide you and to help you. So
there's also metalworks as well for making jewelry.
Jewelry,
which is a great one. People love doing that. And once you're in that, you can just expand that world. It becomes great gifts for the family. I love you are teaching a shabby chic class.
Yes.
So taking old pieces of furniture and making them new again.
Transforming them, doing antiquing. The weathering look is really hot right now. So again, it's great for a cottage, and it's great for, you know, in a living room, high-end living rooms, or you know, you can really adapt and change. So I'm
it's a whole lot cheaper when you do it yourself.
Exactly.
Than when you go and buy it in some really high-end store. You realize it, and again, you can say, "I made that."
The satisfaction of looking at it and saying, "Hey, I did that." I did that. And you know, I trusted myself, my instincts, and I did it. So.
So in a world where we're talking about being a little more green and recycling and reusing. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think you can always, you know, do that, and I think that's always important to sort of think about as well.
Yeah. So again, obviously, you're one of the many awesome instructors here.
Thank you.
But so much for people to learn from as young as 3 years old to infinity.
Yes, exactly.
Which is pretty awesome. So thank you so much for talking to us today. Again, if you want to register, go online, Dundas Valley School of Art, and again, I'm going to be coming here. My son, for sure. Thank you.
I hope so.
We'll be back with more Terra at Home. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of Terra. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives. Good morning, welcome back to Terra at Home. We're back with Chef Mark from La Piazza Allegra Restaurant in Hamilton, and we are making a nice, cozy, indoor winter meal that we need here in Southern Ontario.
That's right, we do.
Oh boy, do we ever. Oh, is it spring yet? Okay, so what are we going to make today?
Well, we're doing a braised lamb ossobuco. So a lot of people have seen lamb shank. What we've done here is we've taken the shank, we've asked the butcher to cut it across the bone.
Okay.
So you end up with a ossobuco looking lamb shank.
Cool.
Now, anytime you have any sort of shank, you have to be very careful how you cook it. okay? So what we've done with this, we've braised it. Now what I did is I braised it ahead of time because you want to cook it nice and low and very slow for about 2.5 hours, okay? So this one here, it's pretty simple recipe. It's got some tomato sauce in there. We have some red onions. We have some olives. We have a little bit of allspice, okay, which gives it a real neat little kind of a Mediterranean feel to the whole thing. Some olive oil, red wine. We put it in the oven. First we seared them, we put them in the oven, and then we braised it nice and slow.
And that's going to give you a nice tender meat.
Nice tender meat. All the gelatin that comes out from the ossobuco, the marrow came out, so we reserved the sauce. And we're going to use that as the sauce for our gnudi. Gnudi, that's right. This is a gnudi.
Honestly, I have never had one of these before, and I've had a lot of cool food, so this is kind of fun that we're doing this today.
This is fun. This is a ricotta gnocchi. So instead of having potato in there like you would do a normal gnocchi, this one is made with ricotta cheese.
And you made your ricotta cheese from scratch.
That's right. So there's a couple things you need to do. If you don't want to make your own ricotta cheese, you need to buy a really high quality ricotta cheese that's a little bit drier, and you still need to strain it a little bit. Either put it in a wire sieve or something like that and just get all the liquid out of there. If there's too much water, the minute it goes into the boiling water, it just disintegrates on you. Okay?
Right. Yep,
so that's what we've done here. So we've made the ricotta. You can see how firm it is, okay? And then what I did is I added a couple eggs, so 1 egg and 1 egg yolk, beat them together, put it in with the ricotta cheese, add a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a touch of salt to that. Okay, so this is how, this is the mixture you end up with. Then, from there, you just got to form them.
This is a kind of a cool idea. And again, so this is, and then they're just rolled in a little bit of cornmeal, right?
Cornmeal, yeah. So we put a cornmeal crust on the outside. Now, if your ricotta cheese is a little bit wet, okay, what you need to do is once you form it, and it doesn't matter what shape you do, I tend to do something that looks like a rolled pillow.
Yeah, it's like a little marshmallow.
A little marshmallow, exactly. We're going to roll it in the cornmeal. If the ricotta is still wet, what you want to do is you want to roll it in the cornmeal and then let it sit for about 6 to 8 hours, because what will happen is the cornmeal will draw out the moisture. Okay. Yeah. And it'll help bind it back together.
Sit in refrigeration or?
Yeah, I would put it in the refrigerator because it is ricotta cheese.
Right,
you have
exactly.
The egg. Okay. So there we go. So what I've done is, because they do take a little bit of time, I did do a few ahead of time here. Okay. The sauce. So now I'm going to take my lamb and I'm just going to debone it. And you can see now it was braised and then I put it in the fridge, okay, to cool it off. So it is firm, but it does fall off the bone, as you can see. And all you need to do is take it off those bones and throw it straight into your pan.
So this is already full of flavor because of the process that you've already cooked it, braised it,
That's right.
with all those wonderful spices that you mentioned.
You got all those flavors in there, and you retain that sauce, and it's a robust dish. I mean, this is not something you want to do in the summer, but in January.
It's funny how we really do adapt to the seasons with it when it comes to our eating. It's you know, as a chef, well, obviously we'd be having to do that. In the summertime, you know, we never dream of eating something like this, right? We want to eat lighter and cooler, fresher foods.
This
is all hearty, like
hearty. You know what?
Something warm.
Get you warm after you've been outside shoveling the snow.
Oh, yes.
Dealing with this cold.
That's right. It's just hard
so
to take.
that's a good example of a good ossobuco. So that's about the size of it. So you can imagine the shank when it's full. It's a big piece, but when you cut it, it ends up like that. Now this is really nice to be used as an appetizer as well.
I can see that.
You know, once it's braised out, you can do a nice little bit of greens with it or something like that, and put
as
it
you're
as
saying,
an
you're cutting
appetizer.
across the bone, so each little piece has the bone in it, right?
Each little piece has the bone.
Yeah.
So we're just going to debone that, and then we're going to throw in our sauce. Got one more piece here. And then it's just a matter of reheating this with the sauce that you have.
Right, and that's what I was just thinking, right? Because it's fully cooked, so basically it's just warming it up.
Yep.
So
and
this
then
is cool because you could do this ahead of time then, right? It gives
you definitely want to braise the lamb.
A little bit.
Yeah, you want to braise the lamb ahead of time. Oh, we got an olive. Let's throw that in there. You definitely want to braise the lamb ahead of time. Reserve the sauce, and more than likely, when you buy the lamb, if you get them to cut it like that, you're going to have a lot. They're gonna, you know, there's no point in buying one shank and getting them to cut it. Butcher's not going to be happy with you. So buy a bunch of them, do a whole bunch of them, and then you can always freeze them down once they're cooked. And then you already have a meal ready to go. And it doesn't have to be done like this.
Good home cooked meal too.
That's right.
Awesome.
So you can see all the gelatin that comes out. I mean, this is the sauce that it was braised in, and you can see how thick it became. And that's just the gelatin from all the marrow.
Okay.
There's the onions, there's the olives, there's the rosemary that we put in there.
Wow. Awesome.
And as soon as you start to heat this up, it will start loosening.
Okay.
You start seeing the sauce coming out.
Yeah, it'll just start softening and.
Yeah, exactly. So move that aside. Now, what I like to do is I always keep those bones.
Okay.
Okay, because what you want to do with that afterwards is put it into a pot and make yourself a nice little lamb demi out of that. You can begin either lamb demi or you can make a nice little lamb soup.
Yeah, and
you have
then
great
you're getting
flavor.
good use out of everything you bought.
That's right.
Right?
Yep. And because there is still quite a bit of marrow in
sure,
there
you can
in
see
those
that.
bones.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to reserve that.
Now, how long are these little guys going to take to cook? Because you have to time this out, right? While you're heating that up. These guys, you know, are kind of timed out and ready to go.
These are about 5 to 6 minutes.
Okay.
Now, what will happen is, traditionally with gnocchi, when you put it in the boiling water, when it floats, it's ready to come out.
Right.
These, they will float fairly early. You want to leave it in there for another minute, minute and a half.
Okay.
Okay, just so that it cooks all the way through and warms all the way through.
Okay.
Because the ricotta is so dense, it does take a bit for the heat to get through.
Okay.
Okay, so it will take a minute or two there after it floats.
You can see that's looking good over there. Okay, so now are you just putting these in water, or is there any oil, or is it just
In
oil?
this?
Or, yes.
Nope, they're going to go straight into salted water.
Salted water.
Very, very similar to your cooking.
good.
It's
That's a lot
essentially it's like a
healthier.
pasta.
Yeah.
It's just a salted water.
Okay, neat.
Now, I haven't tried it yet, but I do understand. I know a couple people that have. What they've done is they fried this in brown butter.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't do that. I didn't do that this time because
Okay.
we already have something that's really robust and very full of flavor over here. So
Okay.
I didn't want to add anything extra.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll finish this all up. We'll put them in water. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of TERRA. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
The Hamilton Spectator. At work, at home, or on the go. Read us online, in print, or download us to your e-reader. Get the Hamilton Spectator any way you want it.
Welcome back to TERRA at Home. We are working on our Gnudi in the pot.
That's right. The Gnudi are in the water.
Okay.
So they, like I said, they floated. It's been about another minute and a half. So now they're ready to come out. Now you have to be gentle with them because they are soft. It's just cheese and egg.
Right. I was just so surprised to hear you say that you put them in water, but I like the whole idea of frying them up in brown butter too. If you're looking for something a little
a little bit
higher
more.
octane.
There you go. That's right.
But that's that makes them actually not that bad for you.
No, and there they
Oh,
are there.
That's so fun. Cool.
It
This
just
sounds
takes
like
a little bit of, care to take these out because
Sure.
you don't want them all to.
Yeah, you have to be
break,
really
but
careful.
It is a nice, like I said, when you add it into the lamb, which is so full
Yeah.
and heavy.
Yes.
This is really nice and
I
light.
can imagine. You could just a reminder as well as you're plating this that you can find all of our recipes provided by Chef Mark on our website at terragreenhouses.com. So you can try some of these out at home. It's always fun to experiment with something you've never tried before, something like that, and very straightforward and easy to make.
Very straightforward, very easy. And you know what? This is something that if you got the kids, you can get the kids involved
Yeah,
in. They'd have fun
absolutely.
making them.
Sure they would.
And it's a good experience for them to learn how to cook something like this. Now I'm just going to use that braised lamb.
Oh, this looks good. And again, it's all about the sauce here too, right?
Oh,
Because
the
there's not
sauce.
a whole lot of flavor in those little ricotta guys, right? It's the sauce that's with it,
That's
breaks it
right.
up. That's just going to be good flavor. Olives in there.
Olives, the red
I have to try
onion,
that.
and that allspice really gives it a nice little kick.
That looks amazing. Just like that, that's your dish.
That's the
I
dish.
love it.
It's such a great, like I said, great time of the year to do this. You have the rosemary in there, so we'll use a little bit of rosemary.
And the rosemary this time of year always smells so good.
Oh,
too.
so good.
So hearty, perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Chef Mark. That looks fantastic. Try it this weekend, but after the show, right now, you know where you need to go. You need to go to our TERRA at Home Winter Market at our Milton location. That's where you need to go. It's on today until 3 o'clock. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have yourself a great weekend.